Hello, my name is Cedric, and along with my beautiful wife, Connie, we'll be hosting my brand new podcast. That's what I said. I'm a retired Navy veteran that suffers from PTSD and anxiety, and we'll discuss how I cope with the mental illness through comedy and discussion. It's a podcast that will talk about everything from cryptocurrency to comedy. If we are wearing
Which way?
They probably just eat ass with a baby spoon.
Which way?
That's what he said. That's what he said. Yeah. 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 That's what he said. That ain't my fault. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Which way?
That's what he said.
Which way?
That ain't my fault. I'm just gonna lay it down like this though. That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. When I say my shit, I'ma repeat my shit. I'ma make sure you understand the foundation of everything where I'm coming from. Don't get it twisted. That ain't my fault.
Which way?
That's what he said. That's what I said. What? That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Which way?
Wow. We gon' do it like that. Yeah.
Which way? Which way?
They probably just eat ass with a baby spoon. Oh, so when I had it muted, you couldn't hear. Okay.
Nah.
Okay. All right. So let me do this really quick. You can hear it?
Loud and clear.
All right, cool.
Bass is a little too loud.
What?
Welcome to another episode of That's What I Said with your host, Cedric Sanders, giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filter. The broadcast starts now.
Friday. It's been a good month since I've done a podcast, so it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a barn burner. I'll just say it like that because it's been. I don't know. I've been having back and forth conversations with my wife, with my sissy, and I was just like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And then, of course, I have a conversation with my sissy, Moonlight, and the topic is probably something that needs to be talked about, And at the same time, it's a conversation that I think people aren't aware of when it comes to this day and age. So, without further ado, introduce my wife that's always by my side. Even if she's not live, she's always by my side. What's going on, Connie?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you, my love. I appreciate the introduction. I'm happy to be here, always by your side. Hope everyone enjoys the podcast tonight. Back over to you, my love.
Well, she's just not so talkative tonight. I don't know what's going on. What's the dealio? We ain't been on in a month.
I know. We really haven't been on in a month. It's strange because we were hitting them streets hard every Friday night.
Well, now we hitting these clubhouse streets. So for those that don't know, that's listen to the podcast live wherever you listen to your podcast, of course, whether it's Apple, Google Play, or iHeartRadio. We decided to make a venture and reach to a different fan base and go to Clubhouse. Initially, I was just going to do Instagram Live, and I said, no, I'm not going to do Instagram Live. I'm going to try to Clubhouse. And, I mean, it's going to take some time. I mean, I already know that. But the listeners that listen to me dedicatively will get notifications that I'm back doing my podcast. So I appreciate the love, and the numbers have went up. So it's very, very motivational when you're able to actually do something you want to do, and people are listening to you and actually support you and agree with you. So I'm not by myself this week, and probably won't be for a few weeks, because I think this dual conversations that we like to have, well, it's not even dual, it's a triple threat. So without further ado, let me introduce my sissy, Moonlight, Miss Chari. How you doing, sissy?
I'm wonderfully elevated and ready to get into this topic, because this topic is very controversial, and it's so all over the place, and people aren't really having what I feel is productive conversation. You know, they're just blabbing and quoting numbers and statistics. Like,
Right.
we'll get into that. But hey, y'all, hey. I haven't been talking in a long time. I've been very, very quiet. I've been on a digital detox. So, hey, y'all, I'm almost back.
She said almost back. You back.
I mean,
Come on.
It's good, because a lot of people, I think people really that don't understand when people kind of just leave, and it's not the consistency. Sometimes you need a break mentally.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
gotta
not
take that hiatus.
Right. And it's not so much about giving up what you love to do. It's just sometimes you need to take a mental break of the bullshit.
No, I ran away.
He was like, no, I'm done. I ran away. I ran.
Listen, I deleted the app. I ran away. Like, this wasn't just a matter of, oh, I'm just gonna log out. No, I logged out, deleted apps, and headed for the hills. I ran. So no, I ran away.
So let me ask this, because this is not topic, but it's a question that I need to ask, just because that's how I am as a host. When you took your hiatus, or I should say, quit the monotonous slave trade that goes on social media. When you decided to do that, and have done it for a while, how does that make you feel? How much better does that make you feel?
Couldn't unmute my mic. To be honest with you, it's taken away a lot of social anxiety. It's taken away a lot of pressure, because, for anyone that doesn't know, that's, just hearing my voice for the first time, I've been doing live broadcasts for a minute. I had been doing them, I believe, maybe a year or two before I even met you all. So live broadcasting, I branched out to YouTube. I'm doing the podcast, and after a while, you get to a space of burnout. And when you give as often and as much as I've given, you get to a space where you feel like maybe, you're not being appreciated. Maybe you need to change or, shift directions, or it gets you to start losing that drive for your passion and losing the drive for the consistency, especially when you see people giving half-assed information that's regurgitated from conversations, text messages, or even Google its goddamn self, or they've watched a YouTube video, and now because they've watched this YouTube video, they think nobody else is watching. They're regurgitating the information that they just heard someone say on a YouTube versus you who's giving authentic conversation, so to speak. It puts you into a bad space, not only just mentally, but spiritually as well. Where you start questioning your work, you start questioning your passion, you start even at some point I was questioning my authenticity.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, because it was like, okay,
What?
I'm going to explain. Let me explain. Because I stumped y'all. Y'all just a little bit. What I mean by questioning your own authenticity is this what I'm really supposed to be doing? Is this my genuine purpose that I was put here to do? Is the information that I'm giving out valid? Is it outdated? Is it even needed anymore? So when we speak of authenticity, a lot of times we get caught up in what's real and what's fake. And we don't realize there's different levels to authenticity that make you you. So it started making me question that. And my mind got really cluttered. And I started going into a dark space. And then, of course, going through spirituality, you go through shadow work. You go through spiritual awakenings and different things of that nature that naturally are going to happen to you in order for you to elevate and evolve and receive new information and have new epiphanies and light shed on things. But you add all of that to the pressure of those people who are expecting you to always be at a certain level anytime that you broadcast. Those people that are expecting your messages to be a certain level of powerful for them. It puts pressure on you. And so me stepping away, I've been gone, I think about a month. It's given me a sense of peace and serenity. And it shed light on the fact that although we all speak about, being caught up in the matrix and this, that, and third, what people don't realize is social media and all these different apps are the new matrix. They're the matrix within the matrix. And I didn't realize how caught up I was into it until I stepped away and started detoxing. I actually had physical symptoms from it where, for the first 24, 48 hours, I had a headache. I had this unexplainable headache that would not go away, that started within the first 24 hours of me being off of social media. The anxiety was going through the roof because those questions started running through my mind. If I step away, will they forget about me? If I step away, when I come back, are people still going to care? Are people going to care that I'm not there anymore?
Right.
Because you've become attached to the bonds of social media. You've become addicted to scrolling the timelines and the likes. No matter how much we say the likes and the comments don't drive us, you become addicted to them.
Yeah, you do. You do. Because you want to see
because they validate you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they validate you. The more people that like it, the more people that are interacting with it, the more valid what I'm saying is.
Right.
See,
And that's where a lot of people don't realize, and you won't realize until you step away, just how social media has crept into your world. It's a sneaky attack. Like they sneak attack you. You don't even see it coming. You don't realize that it's there
It's
until
like an addiction.
it's gone.
It's an
Exactly.
addiction. Yeah.
well, I got to play the sponsor music, so.
This is being brought to you by Coffee Cup Conversation.
Sponsored by the 3 C's.
As I sip my my bourbon. As I sip my bourbon.
Wait a minute, can you play that one more again? I like that. Do that again.
Yes, I will. I will.
This is being brought to you by Coffee Cup Conversation.
Sponsored by the 3 C's.
I love it.
So,
I freaking love it.
I did that probably. Man, that's been a while since I did that. I've just never been able to use it. I did it because we were talking about creating a podcast with the 3 C's. So I was like, okay, let me do this Coffee Cup Conversation. Like, you know, it's a tag for the segment. But it's not coffee time right now. It's actually, you know, water and bourbon time. So
it's wine time.
It's wine time.
Well, hold on, because across the pond, it's almost coffee time.
That's very
It's coffee time somewhere.
You're right. You're right.
Just like it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yep.
Absolutely.
Right. 5 o'clock somewhere, and it's coffee time somewhere.
So let me say this. I think so. I never said why I took a month off, and it goes right around the same thing you were talking about. It wasn't so much of me taking a break off social media, and it wasn't so much of me taking a break from doing the podcast. I think what it was for me, it was taking an observational look. Exactly what you said, you know, am I doing what I need to be doing? Do I need to hash it? Because, like, I don't know how many conversations I had with Connie and told her that I needed to rebrand and refocus and change some things around, because I didn't know if I wanted to be a true podcast. I didn't know if I wanted to be a show because of just what I was exposing myself to and listening to that I think is great creativity and ingenuity when it comes to certain shows I listen to, and me wanting to create something that's not what they're doing, but it's a true, authentic conversation, and you still can be yourself and be funny and actually, you know, let your hair down. But this is where my problem was. I was actually feeling like I was doing that, and it was only like maybe a handful of people that supported me. I mean, and you're going to get people that, you know, can't because they got other obligations, and I completely understand that. But I think the creative magic when you create a podcast is that people don't have to listen to you when you do it live. They can listen to you tomorrow. Anytime. So, in just this time of me being gone, my downloads tripled. My impressions where I was getting monetized tripled. And I didn't even look at it until today. And then it made me realize that you have a great company of people around you that support you, even when you don't even think about, you know, being authentic or just being real. And now it's like, I now completely understand why you took that break of, you know, pretty much solitude and spiritual healing and rebuffering, because it makes sense to me now. Because me taking this break, I was really in observe mode. I was only probably doing one broadcast a month, but I wasn't even hosting it. And some drama and bullshit happened with that shit. So it's like,
me realize me realizing how loyal that, I mean, not even just loyalty, it's really just how authentic people are, real. We got some sick people out here. Like, really, nobody wants to help anybody. Everybody's against each other. Everybody has this attitude of pick me first because I'm picking you never.
Right. Well, what I wanted to also say to you is, you know, when it comes down to your content and your branding and stuff like that, stop rebranding.
Right.
That was when I sat back, you know, because I really felt broken. I really felt broken as a spiritualist, as a teacher, as a guide, you know, as I explained before. But I didn't say this. I really started feeling broken. And so I sat back and was like, well, what am I doing wrong? And then I started thinking back on everything that I have put my hands in. I've constantly been rebranding. I've constantly been coming up with new things and new ways of doing stuff. And, oh, look, I'm doing this now. Oh, look, I'm over here now. Oh, look, I'm doing this now. But I wasn't really giving it a chance to grow. You know, and just like with a baby, when you have a baby doesn't come out and know how to walk. It doesn't know how to do anything.
Right.
And everybody oohs and ahs at the baby. But as that baby grows, not too many people are really asking, how's the baby anymore? You know, they're looking for the child now.
Right.
And so I know for me what happened was I wasn't allowing it to become a child. I was expecting it to instantly go from infantile stage to child, you know, to teenager to adulthood, full blown, boom, here I am, this multimillionaire. And that is ass backwards manifesting.
Right.
Because I wasn't giving myself the patience. I wasn't giving spirit the time to work with me. I wasn't letting it be nurtured and growing before I was on to the next thing. So when I come back and I'm really playing this over in my head, I have to decide which lane am I going? Am I going to go the live lane, which I really don't think I'm going to do because I'm in this thing now where I really don't want to show my face. So I think what I am going to take the time to do is really cultivate and grow the I Am Lounge and maybe bring 15 minutes of funk to a podcast and let that be what people get. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I don't want you to rebrand. What I'm trying to say to you is I don't want you to rebrand yourself.
Right.
Give it time.
Right.
Keep growing and branding. That's what I said. You know, bring back evening eargasm. Let's do coffee cup combos with the triple C. Let's keep going with divine balance and all of that. Like, give it time to take legs before we start walking away from things.
Right. And that's exactly what I was getting ready to say is that I think for me, like I didn't start doing this production thing. And shout out to my brother Sensei in the building. What's good? Peace and love, my brother. What's good?
What's up, family? Connie, Shari, my motherfucking sisters in the building. What's up, brother?
Big brother reverse Sensei.
You better goddamn know it.
Hey, brother, we just talking. We barely just got started. I was making sure my audio was working, but we're starting a conversation. Well, we started a conversation, and we were talking about like social media breaks, and Chari has been off of social media. She like deleted the app like completely, deleted Facebook, deleted Instagram, all that. She deleted it almost a month ago, and we were discussing it. And then we went into a conversation of like the reason why I took a break from my podcast that I've been doing for the last, almost 2 years, and why I took a month off. And what she was telling me, because what I said was the rebranding thing. Like, I was having this conversation with Connie and I was like, do I need to rebrand? What do I need to do? And then ultimately it wasn't so much of me rebranding. I was doubting myself because of people around me. It wasn't so much that people around me wasn't supporting me. It was the people around me that were supporting me wasn't the same people that would normally, do something or say something to you that was motivational. It was always people that did that and I talked to all the time. And it was almost like it shifted my thought process because it made me realize that, you know what, I do have great authentic people. And then Chari chimed in and told me, basically said her experience in, going through this process and realizing that you do have to let it grow. Don't, rebrand because really what you have done is you've created this baby and now this baby has to grow. If you want to allow it to grow and mature, how are you already quitting on it? So that's kind of where we are at the conversation. We haven't even went all the way. We ain't even began the conversation on old school versus Simps and Cap to Clap. Thanks to Chari for that.
Excuse me. It was clout and cap to clap. Okay, you left out clap.
Yeah, I did
Clout
leave out
and
clout.
cap to clap.
Yeah, I did. I mean, that this shows you my man ears don't fucking work because I'm married.
Ouch.
Well, married men choose to listen to what they want to listen to.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get kind of started on that. Don't get kind of started on that.
He most definitely got that selective hearing. He hear what he want, when he want, and only answer to what he feels necessary.
Yeah, but my mom calls me on my shit though.
Excuse me.
Connor just did too.
Yeah. See, that's the problem with living in a house with, when I moved my mom in with this after we purchased the house, my mom she's the matriarch of me and my brother. That's just what it is. She is everything that we idolize in a strong black woman. And I screw with this woman on a daily basis.
Oh my Jesus, yes.
Like literally, she had a bowl that she every time somebody goes downstairs, she hands me stuff to take downstairs. So I sniffed the bowl and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Did you bring some greens up here?" She was like, "No, I ate some tuna fish." I was like, "Oh, I thought you were sneaking food up here." She was like, "What?"
She said, "I ain't got to sneak nothing."
I ain't got to sneak nothing. I was like, "Okay, I'm just keeping you on your toes."
You ain't gonna be happy till she go upside your head.
I know.
For real.
She knows I do it out of love. At least she knows that. So that's where we at, brother. With the, I guess you could say the intro conversation. Like I said, we haven't even gotten to the topic. So, yeah. You like to add anything to that?
Man, shit, bro. Everything in the shower just said, shit, y'all know how patient I was. It's like creating your own lane. You know what I'm saying? And especially with birthing that baby, that was a hell of a goddamn analogy, bro. Because it's just like that. It's like putting a goddamn dish in the oven. You don't want to pull it out too quick. You know what I'm saying? Everybody they sitting at the table ready to be served. It's like, no, wait a minute, just wait, because when it come out, it's gonna be right. So now that's the power of the patience, knowing that less effort is the best effort. You know what I'm saying? That you don't really have to try too hard. Like, it's already there. So it's just about the consistency now. You know what I'm saying? Instead of showing up, constantly creating it, like putting it in their face. Instead of putting that goddamn even the orgasm in their face. Instead of putting, that's what he motherfucking said in their face. Like, the consistency. And, I already know the people that you want to gravitate to will never be the people that gravitate to it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll always be the people who you didn't expect. And it's like, that's when you let go of the expectations. So don't even expect nobody to do it. Just do it because you want to do it. Just do it because it's who you are. Just do it because you love doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I let go of, like, just trying to I don't need nobody that shit. Even if I open up a motherfucking room or do a lot, don't make no difference. Like, so yeah, sometimes to take a break from shit to actually get a better focus, on what it is that you trying to put out. Like, what's my end game? You already know what you've been doing. That's why you took the break. That's why you at where you at now. It's like, so now strike while it's time. Like,
right.
If the platform is there, like I already told you, bro, it's out there now. So it's just about steady doing these rooms. It don't make no difference if it's just us four in here. Eventually, goddamn me, and then you start noticing how this algorithm and shit work. So for me, I just started noticing how all these social media shit work.
Right.
Like, the times and shit you can go live on Facebook, the times to make a post, the times even on this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause there's certain times that shit happen on here. Like, it's a good time to do shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's a trip. But goddamn me, you just monitor this motherfucker, man. Especially this clubhouse shit. It's a trip. This clubhouse motherfucker, Apple motherfucker.
Bro, I have to say,
ooh, you just said a mouthful there. Because honestly, this topic, I came to Cedric with this right after leaving a room.
Right. That's
today.
Man, go ahead, sissy.
But we don't get into all of that. Oh, you want me to get into that? You want to get into that?
Hey,
now?
get into it, because all I was gonna say was this, Sensei. I've been off and on in the streets, but the thing is that Chari called me with this topic because we was on the phone for at least 45 minutes discussing this back and forth. And I told her I was on the fence with something else. And then she started talking about this. I was like, man, we got to talk about that, because this, I think, is exactly what the spiritual community is dealing with. But I think on a bigger scale that people are not even paying attention to. And it's not so much about the clap part, because that clap part is always what pops out, because people send, dicks in a DM, like it's FedEx. So it's like they want to next day air they dick, but not even just try to understand the woman that they're trying to be with. And like, I'm not gonna even talk about it, because me and Sissy gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna start getting into it. But this,
I don't think it's just so much the spiritual community. This is our community as a whole.
Right. This is as
like,
a whole.
I don't think there's true productive conversation. And that just goes from me, no disrespect to anybody on Clubhouse, but this just goes to the rooms that I'm seeing are showing up as popular rooms that are getting, 300 to 700 people in the room and 50-something people on the stage at a time. And they're bringing up these controversial topics, but it's a bunch of yelling and arguing and back and forth bickering. And earlier today, I was in a room where, God, I forgot the topic. It was something about simp niggas eventually they become mean at some point in time, and black women hate all of them anyway. And it was a stage full of men, a lot of women on mute, and the celebrity Benzino was in it. And I kind of have noticed that people will change their names to these celebrity names in their pictures, and it's not really them. And you go in the room, you find out it's not them. But I went into this room because I was like, is that really Benzino? I knew it wasn't really, the other celebrity they were saying they were. And it was. And he's giving his perspective on dating from all of us in here are 70s babies, 70s or whatever.
Right.
We're the older generation, okay? We ain't the old heads, but we the older generation, okay?
Right.
And
we the mid-age.
Right. So we on deck to be the elders, all right? There, I said it. We on deck. We in training. So Benzino was giving his perspective of, trying to understand what a simp is. And he's speaking to a room full of younger generation men. And he's trying to place our way of life in our 20s and even how we date now as adults on them in this generation. And what he's not understanding is they consider what we used to consider dating or chivalry, or they consider that to be simp. They consider a man telling his woman that she is beautiful and protecting her and even approaching a woman and calling her beautiful, or saying, walking up to her and saying, excuse me, I noticed you have a beautiful smile and I wanted to come over and introduce myself. That's being a simp. Because you're basically kissing the ass.
You come out that room with Benzino?
Yes.
I was in that room.
You was in there? Okay. See, I'm not by myself. See, Sensei be creeping in these streets too. But
Garrett, come on up. Garrett, I sent you an invite. If you click on that where it say, oh, there you go. All right,
so he wasn't getting what they were trying to say, and they weren't getting what he was trying to say. And this young man that was in there was talking about how he went to London and he bought like 100 shots and how he gets tail, like he claps cheeks. That ain't what he said, but I'm saying that for sensory purposes.
Right.
But he claps cheeks or whatever.
There's no
okay. Well, he get pussy. Okay, he get pussy.
Let's go, sissy.
So, and he was like saying how he bought 100 shots over in London and he walked out with the baddest chick and he has one night stands and all this other stuff. And Benzino had asked him like, okay, so how do you approach a woman? And the guy says, oh, I walk up to her and I just start making her laugh instantaneously as a woman who's older. Right. As a woman who's older, if you walk up to me, you start telling jokes or you start trying to be funny, I'm going to look at you as a clown. And you better be funny to make me laugh as well, because then I'm just going to snub you. But the difference is I'm an older woman. In the younger generation, if they see him in the club balling out of control and he walks over there to start telling jokes, they're 9 times out of 10 going to laugh at his corny ass jokes because it's about the clout and cat to clap.
Bruh.
As where with us, if I'm sitting and I'm having dinner and somebody sees me, they find me attractive and they send me, tell the waitress, hey, give her, or the bartender, buy her another drink of whatever it is that she's having and let her know it's from me. I know that he's trying to initiate a conversation, maybe try to get to know me. I'm used to the man walking up to me, excuse me, miss, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But as the older generation, we have to understand that when we go up into these rooms and we hear the younger generation talking, they're coming from their perspective and they will never understand our side. The only problem I have with all of that is who makes these rules as to who's a simp? No, seriously, who's coming up with these rules?
I'm trying to figure that shit out too, because
Really, nigga?
I'm to the point, like when we were talking on the phone earlier, I'm to the point where it's like you can't have these conversations with these young cats because they not listening to you. They really not.
No, and they want that silver platter, full. Over the top. They want the silver platter handed to them. They don't care what you've been through, how you got to where you are. They just worried about where they're going to get their bag. Period. They don't care about nothing else.
Well, this also sparked a further conversation that me and Sissy had, because it's a deeper conversation than just that, because now you have that one argument. Then you have an argument where there was a room that Sissy told me about that was, oh shit, what was the name of that room, Sissy?
White men love black women better than black men do. And I actually went up in there after we got off the phone and listened for a little bit.
Yeah, I was in there too. I saw you and I went in there. And
yeah, I went in there for a minute and I couldn't deal. Like, I left up out of there. I sat in there for maybe like 10 minutes and I left up out of there.
And this is what bothered me about the whole conversation, because it was exactly what Chari said it was. It was people making excuses and bashing black women. Like, that's the going trend.
Oh, no. This room, that last room was bashing black men.
Yeah, you're right. It was.
And I mean, I understood where a lot of them were coming from, because they're like, oh, well, I've been disrespected by black men and you don't know what it is to walk down the street and, have this same dude that was just trying to holler at you because you reject him, turn around and say, well, fuck you, bitch, this, that, and the third. I get that, but look at the caliber of dude. Look at how he's approaching you. Exactly. You should have already known that that's what's going to come up out of his mouth. Look at your environment and where you are. If you're in the hood and you're walking to the liquor store,
What are you
and
expecting?
this hood dude walks up to you in a very derogatory manner. His body language is showing you who he is. The way he's approaching you, he's probably on some, hey, yo, ma, or shorty, this, that, and the third. Because, you know, if you down south, hey, little mama, this, that. Listen, I know the lingo. How you approach me, I may not even say anything to you. I don't have to say, ew, no, get away from me. Like, what was your response as well? If you're trying to embarrass him, he's definitely going to embarrass you. But if you ignore him and don't even say a word to him, if he continues to go into a rant, be glad you didn't even give him the time of day in the first place. And as a Black woman, I'll just say, I have gone through some of the most painful experiences with Black men, but I will never give up on my brothers. I will open up my eyes to experience other things, but I will never sit up here and bash my brothers for anything that has happened in my life, because I don't hold all men accountable for what a few men did to me. And that's what this generation does. They hold the whole plethora of people, a whole gender, a whole race of people responsible for an experience that they had.
Right. Well, I will say this. I'm like, I won't say I'm on the fence, but I'm kind of like on the fence, but I'm not going to be on the fence because that's what I said. So.
Wait, are we bringing people up on the stage? Because we have a hand up.
Yeah, we can.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
If you're in the audience, you got, so BTO, we see you, but you don't have anything linked to your profile, and people come on this app trolling. So we just want to make sure that you're authentic or somebody that's really cool before you come up here and go to talking out of turn. So that kind of stuff happened on this app, bro. I just want to make you mindful of that. But
yeah, he left.
We can bring him up. See how he left?
Bloop, they left.
See how they go?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, like, this shit a trip. People be trying to tell you something about this app, too.
Right.
Hey, what's up with it, Wooden Page? When Wooden, he follows me. He's good. If you want to come up, brother, you can come on up. We're having a live. We're just having a conversation. This is my family up here. But, bro, everything that y'all said, now I seen that. I was in that room with Benzino and them this morning. And I'm going to tell you something. That's why I go in these rooms and I won't say shit, because the lips of wisdom are closed yet to the ears of understanding. We go back to everything that Shira said, because I heard Benzino going back and forth with them young cats, and it's understanding and knowing that basically these young cats is lost in the program. Like, the shit goes deeper. Like, that's why it's the social engineering. So even when I be in spaces like that, and the moment I step up there, I done had this experience. I've been here with all these rappers and shit. I'm telling y'all this shit a trip. They ain't trying to hear the solutions. It's a room of just infinite loops. Like, they just, I'm talking about that shit can go on and on for hours, and all they doing is rehashing what they don't like, the problems that they experience. Just like Shaw, I'm talking about to the point where it'll turn into a bashing. They'll go from bashing men to bashing women. Bashing men, I'm talking about it's like an infinite cycle of bullshit. And then they not even in there to get to a solution. So a lot of these rooms on this motherfucker are not solution based. They just doing it to have conversation so people can come in there and say what they feel. And people can give different opinions about what's going on about the topic. So goddamn me, especially with that shit with this simp. Nigga jumped on my post and called me a simp.
What?
Nigga jumped on my post.
But who makes these rules for what a simp is? Like, who came up with this terminology?
What? That's what I asked the niggas, y'all.
Hoe ass niggas.
Then I told him. Then what I told him. You got that word. You got that word for somebody like you, right?
Right.
So that's how words resonate. Nigga heard a word and it sound good. And then we all saying this shit. You know how this shit going in the hood.
Right.
But that's what they call simping, though. They call simping that whole aspect of if you. That's the nigga put a definition on my page and everything. I ain't bullshit. I'm talking about me and the nigga were having the whole discourse. You can go on my page, see this shit, Shire. This shit was a trip. I was
See, you about to make me. Yeah, I'm allowed just to go see it.
Man, the shit was a trip, nigga. This post was about last month. Now the nigga sent me a definition. So basically, we're talking about like a Derek Jackson nigga, like a nigga that did downgrade other men to get some pussy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, So that's basically the definition that he gave me. But I said the sad part, that's what I told that nigga. The programming got you so in a place to where you're ready to conquer a woman and thinking that she's an object to be objectified or the right to be personified or something to be bought or cherished or a notch under your belt, to where when a man comes along and actually is uplifting her and speaking into her and actually telling niggas to be accountable for their shit, now nigga a simp. But now you the one that's a simp, nigga, because you running from your shit. Because you can't identify with your own insecurities and your own motherfucking emotions. So goddamn me, that's what I told nigga, you the simp. The shit you doing simping now. I said, nigga, I don't even know you. You came on my post to make your point. That's simping.
That's simping.
You get what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you simping now. Like, so niggas be doing saying shit and they be subjecting themselves to the very behavior that they trying to deflect. That's what I watch. So when I was in that room, I heard Benzino going back and forth with them dudes. And then Benzino, the shit was a trip because he caught up in that too. He would tell him how much money he got and how he broke niggas and shit, you know. So that's how these niggas be.
Right. I saw that. Mm-hmm. And when he left, he cussed them out.
Yeah. He said, y'all weak ass niggas. But they all on this mundane ass mindset. Ain't nobody into the divinity. So when you come into the divinity part and the accountability part, because the accountability come with the divinity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So ain't none of them want to be accountable. Everybody just want to play the blind game. So the moment you step in and say anything that leads them back to them or points them to the programming that we're all being subjected to, and now we sit up here arguing because these social engineering have become our personal motherfucking problem. And y'all don't realize that because of the 90s, and Benzino was saying some real shit. Growing up in the 90s ain't nothing like growing up in the 2000s.
Hell no.
Right.
So that was a social construct. That shit was designed so the rap music, everything is different now. This is programming that we up against. So yeah, these youngsters, they don't respect authority. They ain't trying to hear nothing the old niggas say unless you can relate to them. Unless you got some motherfucking money and you doing what they doing, they ain't trying to hear shit you got to say. So it's like, man, this shit is a trip. But on this app, you watch all this shit play out, y'all. This shit a trip.
And this is why I told Cedric, I said it's all about clout, and cat to clout. That's what this generation is about. And even in that room at one point, I got asked to come up on the stage or whatever. And I was on the stage and I was muted. And I wanted to make the point to Benzino specifically, like, listen, you cannot try to get them to understand where we are coming from because it is a different time. The women, the young girls nowadays are looking for the clout. And the young men out here are capping. Not saying all of them, but that's basically what happens in this generation. And you can't be a nice guy, and you can't cherish your woman, and you can't say you love your mama, and you can't say that you're going to protect a woman if you see her in trouble, because if you do, you're a simp. And no one wants to hear that. And I've been put out of rooms that I've gone into, and I've spoken in, and I've said my piece, and they didn't like what I had to say. Because they don't want to hear the real. They don't want to hear, basically when I went into that room about white men loving black women more, when I listened to the young lady speak that was speaking on her experience, she was speaking from a place of hurt. And it's unhealed hurt that's coming out as anger and aggression. And when she got called out on it, the girl who created the room and was the moderator of the room started jumping down everybody's throat, talking about forget her tone, listen to what she's saying. It has nothing to do with that. She's speaking real life facts. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm thinking in my head, like, no, they called it dead on. While she may be speaking facts, she's speaking from a hurt place. And you're cheerleading that hurt place on instead of going a little bit deeper with her. If you're going to be, but like you said, Big Brother Sensei, it's not solution based. So no one's taking the time to sit this sister down and say to her, I hear what you're saying and you have valid points, but I also hear the hurt in you.
Well,
I also hear the disappointment in you. No one is acknowledging that. And then they call her masculine.
See, that's sad because the reality is that when people do that, they're edifying trauma bonding and not looking for solutions. So solution is not even a part of their vocabulary. they want to trauma bond and they support trauma bonding. So they allow it to happen. And it's like when a woman hears the pain of another woman and knowing she isn't healed, they want to pull them into their trauma bonding community, because that's what Facebook is. It's a trauma bonding community. I don't give a fuck what you do, how you look at it. If you post something and you looking for likes and loves and shares, your fucking ass is trauma bonding. You're looking for acceptance. That's what trauma bonding people do. They look for fucking acceptance. So if you can't accept the fact that at free will, you're going to post something out of your pure heart, how you feel, funny or not funny, you're trauma bonding. And I realize me fucking with posts on Facebook, I'm paying attention to who likes and loves my shit. And I realize people only like and love the shit you put on there about your family or anniversary. You bought a house, your kids graduated, you bought new shoes for them, they getting ready to go to school. Guess what? I got 6th and 12th graders going to school. People love that shit. But when you put something about your business, something that you create, something that you love to do, and you can't find one motherfucker to like that shit. And it fucks with you. It fucks you like...
And that's the truth.
I mean, and the reality is that it's unfortunate that it mentally fucks with you to the point where you feel like you cannot express yourself in the way you need to express yourself because people are not going to support you. And a lot of people get that reasoning because of fucking social media. It ain't because of life. We're older and we...
Well,
Go ahead, sis.
Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
No, I was going to say that as we get older, we realize that social media is nothing more than a social experiment of finding who's retarded and who's not. Let's be real. Because at the end of the day, when you say I'm done with Facebook and I go to a platform where people actually listen to what you have to say because it's in your mind and in your heart, guess what? People really start fucking with you. Not because of the fact that you speak well. It's because, guess what? You speaking real shit. You can speak that real shit on Facebook and people don't want to talk shit about you because you're not a content creator. You're not making money. You're not got how much money you got, who you know. Because I really I got people like that on my Facebook right now. I just got into an argument with a nigga. Not even an argument, but me telling him about himself because the nigga clout chasing. Did I tell him he was clout chasing? Yeah, I did. Because that's who I am. Did he change himself? Will he change himself? Fuck no. You know why? Because he's a piece of shit. But that's neither here nor there. It's not about if that person's going to change to better themselves. What it is that you're got plausible deniability on the reality of life. You would rather sit there and look for people to like and love your shit than to actually support other people that will support you. We're not even looking for those people to support us because we're too busy talking shit about everybody else. And that's all I was going to say. Go ahead, sissy.
No, I was going to say, and to piggyback off of that, on here, I've noticed you may not even have the person who's creating the room may not be the one that's looking to trauma bond, but they're like the Jerry Springer of it because you're creating this environment and you're sitting back letting it happen. And you're doing it. You're building your brand based off of someone else's trauma bonding. People in there arguing. The more toxic the room, the better it is. Like there's people that are actually doing that. Now that's not to say that that's all rooms, because I've been in some super dope, awesome meditation rooms. I've been in some super dope, awesome business and finance rooms. Like I was in one today, the 10 skill sets for wealth. Mm-hmm. I was in there just listening and taking in. I didn't catch all of them. But I was in there for the vibe, like the room was calm. So not all of them are like that, but a lot of these rooms that have these types of titles, like the one we have up here now, had we had more interaction, you and I, Cedric, because we're not really on here like that. Like I don't start rooms and stuff. I'm going to start though.
Right.
But had we had more interaction, I can guarantee you it would have brought more people into here just based off of the title.
Right.
Because it sounds like it's something that's toxic. It doesn't sound like there's any solutions or healing that's going to happen within this conversation. It sounds like a room where I can go in and just spew whatever I need to in there. Mm-hmm. And it's not that. Because if you're in here, we're looking for solutions. We're giving you real conversation, a perspective for you to look at this in a different way.
That's real.
That's the difference. Gary, hey Tanya, Danae, what you doing? You want to come up? Let me know.
Tanya's in the building. What's good, Tanya?
Big brother Garrett.
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could say something real quick on that. To be honest with you, I had to look up the term simp because I was like, damn, what in the hell does that mean? And found out that it's a slang term that was used. Too Short coined it back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And meaning, that men are, referring to in a misogynistic way, a person who's unmanly. But I think you said and Chari hit on. I think what this all reveals, if with this being an issue, is how wounded people are, and how damaged individuals are, and don't want to heal, don't want to deal with their insecurities and the issues that would make them better and productive for someone else to replicate that and to cause for that to be a growing mechanism where you can see that affecting, your web of contact of individuals that you're surrounded by or with. And so, I mean, with this, where we are in this late in the game, we ain't got time for this type of shit.
Right.
Be worrying about, who unmanly and because you express a certain way or because you move this particular way. I mean, how does that help or hinder, particularly if you are in a progressive functioning manner that's moving whatever it is that you're doing along and you're being successful at it, and you happen to interact with people that have the same mindset. Now, I know we all don't think the same, we all shouldn't, but then there's something to be said to when you have a like-minded individual that's on the same type of vibration and frequency and moving in that strength. What this is, I mean, it's almost embarrassing at this late in the game that we even have to discuss something like this because of where individuals are. So that's my 2 piece and 2 cents on it. I'm enjoying this conversation because it brought something to life for me that I'm like, damn, I didn't know what I didn't know what the hell a sip was.
And 2 piece you just did, Garrett, you just boop, boop, came up in here, bang, bang.
For real.
And the funny thing is, that generation, the generation that's coming up, is definitely a product of the generation before them, which is us, where we, at this stage in the game, we are just now learning how to heal ourselves. We are just now learning how to face a lot of those things that caused us to be lost and sleep and, in the streets, wilding out, doing things when we were younger. And I feel like, and it's just my view on things because Cedric and Connie know I've been working on this book called Generation Lost. And I'm actually like rewriting the whole beginning of it because it's taking me in a different direction. We are the generation that came up in the crack era. And we're the first generation that literally had no real guidance. We are the first generation that had the stable person, which was usually mom in the household, ripped away from us because of a drug, because of an addiction. And a lot of us were torn from the household or lived in a household that had a lot of toxicity in it. I myself lived in the household with my grandmother, but my father was addicted to crack. I was the one that discovered that. I was the one that brought it to the light that he was addicted. I had to watch us lock the house down whenever he came around. It changed a lot. And we're the ones that had our homes ripped apart, our lives torn apart, but then jumped right into the same thing. The same thing that hurt us, we went running right to it because it had the money. And then now we have these children that are coming up from a generation that was basically unguided or misguided. And now while we're trying to right our wrongs, I think a lot of people miss the mark that we got to start by trying to help this generation behind us because we damn near owe it to them. That's just my view on it. I'm going to leave that.
Damn, that's deep. I think it's admirable that we're even having this conversation, because a lot of people won't even have this conversation, like, at all. And it's not because they're scared of the, to have the conversation, but it's just like, you were saying, Chari, and the same thing that you were saying, my brother Sensei, is that they're not solution based. They don't want to have a solution or be in a conversation where it's solution based. All they want to do is go in these clubhouse streets and look for names that's catchy just to talk shit. And it's not even just to be solution based. It's not even to figure out how we can solve this problem, how we can mentally mentor our young people. And I say that strongly because having these conversations with our young people is not always reaching them. We have to get inside their mental. A lot of them got PTSD. They feel like they gotta shoot a nigga before they actually say I'm sorry to a nigga. That's the sad part. So we have to mentally mentor these people into being able to say, look, I'm not your nigga, I'm your brother. And I say nigga a lot, I guess only because that is by definition how some of our people act, ignorant. Like, you want to hold black power up so much, but you can be right in the conversation with a brother and be ready to beat his ass and kill him. That makes absolutely no fucking sense. Like, I don't get that. I really don't. And then even so much as to the spiritual community, I'm not going to even lie about this shit. The spiritual community has probably gave me spidey senses that are like a 13-year-old having her first period.
Unorthodox.
It is like the most uncomfortable, craziest shit ever, because it makes absolutely no sense. But this is what we're okay with. It's like people don't realize this is a repetitive cycle of a religion that failed. And people are trying to create another religion, and it failed. And then they create another religion, and guess what happens? It doesn't fail. It becomes a cult. And unfortunately, that is exactly what this being conscious shit has turned into. It has turned into a bunch of cultish type bullshit where people want to learn about herbs, but want to do their little rituals over them and pee in it and clip their fucking toenails in it and have a nigga drink it so they can have somebody, be with them for the rest of their lives.
No, wait a minute now. I don't know. That's a lot of energy we put in there. Nah. Wait a minute.
Really, nigga? Really, nigga?
Bruh. Shayla, come back.
Bitch, what?
Divine Goddess, come back, because I heard you over there.
I'm sorry. This is my fellow asshole.
We're not putting that much energy in nothing said. Like, people do that, but the majority of people, they don't.
Right.
They really don't. That's a lot of energy to put into some bullshit. Let's go turn to a pot of bullshit. That damn part.
Oh shit. But you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't know.
Oh, and wait, before you continue, let me just say this.
Yes.
Did you know that the whole definition of nigga changed? It no longer means ignorant person. It is now back to being a person of color. Look it up.
You know what?
I
already did.
Wow.
I already did before I said what I said. Dead ass sissy. I looked it up earlier today and I was like, you know what? I wonder if the word has changed as far as the definition. Because I know when shit happens, you will automatically just not even think about that. I think about it because that's what I did in the military. I had to write shit, look up words of definition and use these words. And guess what? Yes, nigger means a person of color. It does not mean an ignorant individual anymore.
That's asinine. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You know what's asinine? A 69-year-old white woman with box braids. That's asinine. Just wear short hair. Don't get box braids. Because you're making everybody else look bad. saying.
Get off my phone. Thanks for coming out, y'all. Good night and God bless.
Nah, man, fuck you, man.
I'm just saying. I was looking at Connie the whole time.
Oh my god.
He sure was. He over there looking at me like I'm 69-year-old white chick. With
No,
box braids.
I'm telling you. You ever get 69 years old? Do not let that be the first fucking thing you tell me you want for Christmas, baby. I want box braids. I'm gonna kick you in the box. Fuck a box braid.
I'm done. I am done.
Yeah, I get you, sissy. I get you. Sissy's like, yep, and good night.
Really, nigga?
No.
You eat ass with a baby spoon.
Never ever catch
Wow.
me asking you about some box braids. No. I'm sorry. I like
Peace of love
my
to everybody that's joining. I'm sorry. Peace of love to everybody that's joining on Spreaker and people that are listening on Clubhouse as I reset the room. We have really started getting into this conversation, and now we're about to put 10 toes down on old school versus it's actually supposed to be clout and cap to clap, but I put simps in there because I've been hearing simps a lot, and I think simps and clout is pretty much the same nigga because simps is clout chasing. That's all simps do is clout chase. We got a bunch
To
of
me,
them.
a simp is a fuckboy.
Yeah, he's
and
a
we got
fuckboy.
plenty of fuckboys. So, I mean, but, then again, we would have to go into defining exactly what a fuckboy is because not everybody's definition of a fuckboy is the same or a fuckgirl is the same. And, not everybody's definition of an alpha is the same because everybody's an alpha till a real alpha step in the room. And I witnessed that for myself. That's all I'm saying on that. But I've witnessed everyone's an alpha till the real alpha steps in.
Oh, boy.
Well, I'm going to say this. Next week, I have coined the topic, fuckboy by definition of experience. So...
Yes, please say experience because the last thing we need is anybody else coming up into another clubhouse room, spitting off statistics and numbers and telling us well, we can go look up statistic and numbers because I've heard people spit inaccurate statistics because the minute they start that statistic stuff, I instantaneously go and look it up.
Right.
And I heard someone say something about 90% of women are filing for divorce. I heard that earlier today. I looked it up. As of 2020, only 75% of women are filing for divorce.
Really, nigga? Really,
75%,
nigga? Really, nigga?
not 90. So these people spitting out these numbers don't mean shit. Numbers can be altered, and all numbers do is really show you who's being studied, right?
Oh.
Who's answering these test questions?
Right.
Who's doing this? The only thing that I can say could possibly be accurate would be medical stats that come directly from like CDC or something like that, some type of health, because it's a record of it. They're keeping account of it. How many people are getting pregnant? How many people, whatever. I really like to base things off of life experience because I could go to school and I could study all day long. I can study, African culture and spirituality. I could go get degrees in this stuff.
Right.
But if I don't have the actual experience, I'm not relatable. And when you start throwing numbers out into a conversation, I feel like it's a way to deflect that you don't have any life experience. And people who get behind that, I personally feel, I'm not saying I'm right, it's just my view, that people that get behind the numbers are people who don't have the life experience either. Either you can tell me your world by painting me the picture that you see so that I can see it from your eyes, or you can't. I don't want to hear about statistically this many people are marrying this many people and this group of people. No. How many people do you know? What's been your experience with it? Because it's your personal experience that affects you.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, you're
so
right.
Yeah.
Damn. So I want to get really into this conversation. So, okay. So old school versus Simps, clout chasing, cap to clap. How is this really I can actually say this is a manifestation of bullshit, because really it's laziness. Men have made it to where they can make up every excuse known to man as the reason why they are the way they are. And it's not about how you can better, be better at life, how you can, change to be a reflection of who you want your kids to look up to. It's always an excuse. It's like, oh, this woman did this and she's full of shit and blah, 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 blah. And I mean, it's to the point where it's like, you know what, nigga, I'm tired of hearing how you feel a certain group of people have done you wrong when nobody's ever discussing the approach that these people are taking. And it goes back to what you were talking about before, Moonlight, when you were talking about, like, if, you're at a TGI Friday or a Red Lobster or whatever the case may be, or, at your favorite, vegan spot, and you're there having a drink and, eating your meal, and somebody approaches you, buys you a drink or whatever, and blah, 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 blah. We don't have that type of shit no more, because at our day and age and at our age, growing up in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s, for me, the early 90s, you get to a point where being a very authentic gentleman and telling how beautiful a woman is, and I would love to take you out and just get to know you better. You can't even have that type of conversation no more, because niggas pull up and then be like, yo, I got a 10-inch dick. You want to go in the bathroom? It's like, really, nigga? Or
they don't have to pull up and say that anymore. They're just dropping it in your inbox.
Well, that too. Yeah, they got the convenience of social media where you got DMs, to where you get, I call DMs dick measurement, because that's really all it is. I don't even tell people to DM me no more, because I don't want them to just get the idea I want to see a dick pic. No, that's what DMs are for, dick measurement. That's all motherfuckers are doing now. They sending people these random FedEx dick measurements just to think that that's what somebody wants to see on their, Saturday morning when they scrolling Facebook and sipping their coffee before they fuck their phone up.
I want to ask y'all something, though.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that we were more honest in our ways of dating? I mean, I know that, there was the game and, shooting shots and all of that stuff back then. But do you feel that it was more honest than it is now when we were coming up?
I have to agree with you, Sissy.
I believe so.
I think I have to agree with Garrick. I think it was more, and I'm going to say why I think it was authentic. Back then, it was you had the very slim pickings of people that bullshitted you, and you pretty much knew right off the rip when someone came up to you, just the way they swung their head and had their hand on their dick or had their hands in their pocket like, yo, what's good? It's just the way they talk, just like what you were saying before. It was very small. You get that shit every day now.
Every day.
You get that shit every day. You at a stoplight with your window rolled down because it's, nice day. You ain't got to have the AC or the heat going. You just want to roll the window down and put your arm out. And then you got somebody that probably got 6 teeth in his head, and you can smell his breath because the wind just happened to be blowing from across the street into your fucking car.
Wow.
And his breath smell like a used diaper bag. It's like, nigga, would you shut the fuck up? Like, no. I don't hear nothing you saying because your breath has made my contact lens fall the fuck out, and I got to figure out how the fuck I'm going to go across the street because I can't tell if the light's red or green. Thanks. Bad
Ladies
breath.
and gentlemen, we have takeoff, and there is this.
I mean, that's what.
Babe, welcome back.
But I mean, that's what we
Really, nigga?
we came to an understanding then. I think in the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s. I think it was different because a lot of us, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want nobody to take a page out of my book, but I still do this to this day. And I'm going to tell you, back then, music was the sole like romantic situation. You had the right song with some candles and a couple glasses of wine. Trust me, panties are gonna fall off before you walk downstairs.
Well, see, I asked that question because, all right, go back to like the 90s and maybe even a little bit of the early 2000s. For me as a woman, I know who was the player, who was more than likely the person to have a bunch of women. That, like I said, that's not to say that there wasn't games being ran.
Right.
There was. But you knew when a person just wanted to sleep with you. You knew that.
Right.
Nowadays, even in our generation, the problem with a lot of our generation is, and anyone jump in and stop me if you have a different perspective. I feel like a lot of people in our generation who are not becoming conscious of self, who are not willing to own their shit, so to speak, heal, do the work, be a more productive vibration in the collective, they're trying to mimic and emulate the younger generation. And what I mean by that is I shared this story with you earlier. I had a man who actually chased me for a whole year, got my attention, and then chased me even further for 6 months. Finally got to it, and we linked up maybe like 4 or 5, maybe 3, 4 times. And then it was no more. And that was all he wanted. And I knew that was all he wanted. But he did everything in his powers to beat me down, to say that it's not. He did everything to show me that he was not like that. That's not what he wanted. We went on the dates. We spent the time. We did all of that stuff. And that's something that I feel comes out of this new age stuff. Because back in the day, who the hell is going to put in that much time just to, and y'all are men, so y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never had a man do that before. Put in that much time, a year and a half of your time, to do everything as if it's the opposite of what I see you as, for you to prove me right. And then I wasn't the one that was butthurt. He was butthurt that I didn't, after months of not hearing from him, you think you could just pop back up in my life with some bullshit ass story and I'm gonna, let you back in? And now you're butthurt when I called you on your shit and was like, yo, I'm not even mad at you because I already knew what you were. I knew what you were after.
Can I jump in on that, Shari?
Please do, please.
What I noticed from it is that it's very difficult to be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very difficult to be phony, and vulnerable at the same time. And what I mean by that is, and when it comes to relationship, if a man is going to be truly involved in it, then he has to show where he's vulnerable at. And ladies, y'all pick up on that when a man is not being authentically vulnerable. But you can't mask that with the games being played and being vulnerable at the same time. It's oil and water. It will never mix. And I believe there was a time where it was a little bit more truthful in our approach to when we wanted to date a person, or we were involved with a person, or we were infatuated with an individual and wanted to get to know them. And yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna take it off the table. When the first time I saw Lisa, I thought she was beautiful, and it was what I saw that attracted me. But I wasn't leading with Junior. I wanted to get to know her. I wanted to be involved in what was her likes, what was her dislikes. Now I that you're not going to get a whole lot of that conversation today from men and from women. Just keep it a buck. but that it was to me it wasn't a little bit more authentic in those times because one, what was impactful is what was representative from the home.
Mm.
If you had a man that was there, if you had and not to say that it had to be a 2-parent home, but if you had a strong man and a strong woman that didn't take the bullshit and said and instructed you what to look out for. Now it's a free fall, Then now we get the emergences of a Kevin Samuels, a Derek Jackson, and it's like, please, that's not what everyone is looking for. And unfortunately, people make those broad sweeping strokes from their own personal experience and think that that's how it is across the board, and that's furthest from the truth. Because then once you dial it down to us who may be not known, to say, no, we have a different perspective of what we experience and would like to bring that to the forefront. That doesn't have as a loud voice as the other garbage that you hear that's out there. So, I think that we have to be able to be strong enough and committed and consistent to say, no, that's not how it really is, and put that energy out there to say, no, this is, and it's not a fantasy. It's not no Cinderella story. It's not no happily ever after crap. This is how people who decide that they want to be together and have decided that they want to make it work, and they have decided that they're gonna put all their energy into that to bring something productive, and then here you go. There's the magic formula. Make the damn decision to do it.
Right.
Period.
Man.
And you brought up a great point.
Facts.
Let's see, the thing, like you said, when you were saying that you wanted to take the time to get to know her likes, get to know her dislikes. I think that's a lot of what's also missing as well. Nowadays, nobody wants to take time to actually get to know anyone. And even in that story right there, like I said, for a year, there was conversations that were being had, and then I gave him full-on conversation and attention. And that situation, like I said, I'm not butthurt because, truth be told, Cedric will tell you, I move like a female, but I think like a man. The only reason why he even got it is because I wanted it at that time. So I made the decision like, yo, it's been a minute, and okay, so I'm going to give him some. But that's what I think made it so difficult for him, was the fact that he thought I was going to chase. And I didn't chase. And then when the questions came in and the conversation was had, and it's like, oh yeah, well this, that, and the third, and I'm like, it's all good, like no love lost, but I'm just not dealing with you no more. Like, thanks for a good time. Like, I enjoyed the time with you, but I'm good. It hurt his feelings. And I was being honest. I told him, I was like, the only reason you got it is because at that point in time, I wanted, I wanted to get my cheeks clapped. God damn it.
I'm done. I'm done.
And so I let you round of applause. You should be happy. That's it. I don't want nothing else. And it's like, nowadays people don't really respect the honesty of it. If I like you, I like you, and I want to get to know you. You've intrigued something in me mentally, visually. People are appealing, yes, but what do you have on the inside? What do you offer? Right. If you can't spark nothing in me in that aspect, then you go in one of three lanes. Either I'm not going to deal with you at all, you become a friend, or you're an object to be used at a time when it needs to be done. I'm sorry. I'm very niggerish. I'm sorry. Very, very men. Very men.
No.
It's facts, though. That's facts.
Right. So I have to say this, and I got to play motivational something. So. Oops, I said on these nuts. I ain't really mean to say on these nuts. Okay. So I'm done. So.
What the hell?
I mean, if you didn't hear so okay, the journey with me and Connie's different. I had to learn a valuable lesson even before I met Connie. like me and Connie been knowing each other well over 20 years. So, well, it's at its 20th year.
Yep.
So I can't say well over 20 years, but it's at the 20-year mark. But what I had to realize was I was attracted to her because I'm attracted to women, okay, first and foremost. And something that bothered me before I even started talking with Connie had absolutely nothing to do with Connie. It had everything to do with me. Because I think just being the man that I was, my give a fuck was not like everybody else's give a fuck. And I didn't like to introduce my give a fuck to everybody else because some people like to take my give a fuck and use it against me. Not that they could, because I would pick that shit out, but I just felt that way as a black man. You know, it was like I felt not appreciated, not because of what I offered, just because of who I was. You know, I felt so much of a burden not being liked by certain people just because I was an outspoken person. And they normally never got the outspoken person unless they talked to me. And I was comfortable talking to them. Otherwise, I was quiet as shit, introverted as hell. But I always liked to do my job and do it the way I was supposed to do it. And that's the way it was. So with Connie, it was always conversation. It was always, you know, how you doing, blah, 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 blah. Because I gave a fuck. She was my friend, first off. Like my best friend. Even though she was like my work wife, she was my best friend.
The work wife.
Work wife.
Oh, your work wife became your life wife. Oh.
It was funny because I used to wear my tight underwear. I mean, my tight uniform. I used to wear my tight uniform pants and shit.
Tidy whitey.
Bruh. I used to wear, okay, in my summer whites back then, they had two different uniforms. They had one that was called the Cottons, and they had the CNTs. Now, the CNTs...
Them Cottons was truth tellers.
Yeah. So, the cotton ones, you could see through them motherfuckers, okay?
Yes, Lord.
Now, I never liked wearing the cottons because I always had to wear my summer white. So, I always wore CNTs. Well, guess what? I would wear the tight CNTs because due to my mom's, you know, upbringing and DNA and dynamics,
The algorithm of that ass.
the algorithm of my ass does not fit in male pants very well. So people used to talk shit about me because it was like, bruh, all these girls in these squads are talking about how big your ass is. I'm like, bruh, are you gay? Because why would you repeat that to me? Like, why is that something I want to hear?
What?
My homeboy telling me how fat my ass is because his girls that he work with are talking about my ass. That ain't some shit I'm going to talk to my boy about. I'm going to be like, hey. Right.
Yeah, no, leave that over there, player.
Right. that ain't some shit I want to hear, bruh. Like, nigga, we go to the club together and I buy you drinks and you buy me drinks and shit. Now I'm starting to think, you sip off my straw before I get my drink, nigga. That's some bullshit. That's what I'm thinking right now. But, but I like I said, I was learning in this whole process. And when me and Connie got together in 2017, I was like in this process of being really honest about everything. And I never was that completely honest when I was, you know, dating women before or getting married, whatever. I was never that completely honest. I was honest, but I wasn't completely honest. I was so completely honest to where, like, when me and Connie had talked before we even thought about having a relationship, I told her everything then. Like, I need to catch you up on your boy and what I'm dealing with. Like, I told her everything. That's the problem that is not going on to this day with men, you know, talking with women. we're not as vulnerable as we want to be, but then we bitch about it when we are trying to be vulnerable and the woman doesn't have patience to listen to your vulnerable bullshit.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
But we're also not being honest and hearing one another either.
That part. Because I'll put it to you like this. My mom went through a health scare. Well, it wasn't even a health scare. She went through this situation in 2018.
A major life event.
Yeah, major life event. And me and Connie had barely been together a year. Like in a relationship, you know, talking, still getting to know each other, boyfriend, girlfriend. And yeah, I know you want to meet my family, but I got to go to Kansas City. My mom's in the hospital. She took off work for like a month. We drove from Washington State to Kansas City, Missouri, and stayed in Kansas City, Missouri for 3 weeks while my mom was in the hospital. And literally, we were just like in a relationship, been together for a year. And a lot of people would say, oh, that's perfect. You know, you get to meet the mom. My mom was in the hospital. Like, my mom got to meet Connie. I mean, she talked to her on the phone, but she got to meet her while she was in the hospital. And it wasn't even really like a meet to where she would really remember Connie until probably a week before we had to leave.
Yeah, I was just going to say it was like a week before we actually left is when, like, she really got to meet me, see me, and understand who I was, not just to you, but, you know, to myself.
Right. Now they fucking, what's that damn dog and cop thing that Tom Hanks had?
Oh, Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch, yeah. That's my mom and Connie right now. Shit, they sit up here and watch these damn...
Shut your mouth.
Soap operas like Turner and Hooch. But I have to say this. I think it's gotten to a situation where now people are not really trying to develop those relationships where they actually get to know and learn someone and actually get to understand who that person is and make themselves available and vulnerable to the conversation, because you don't know what that person has been through.
That authenticity is not there.
Well, not even just that. You don't even understand what that person has been through, and not understanding what you are going to accept is always something that you always play in your mind. It's like, there's certain things I'm going to accept and certain things I'm not going to accept. Okay, why think that? Open your mind to the fact that you're about to learn and understand a woman that you're completely attracted to, and you ain't even had sex with her yet. But see, that's what we as men can't grasp. It's like you see a beautiful woman, and the first thing you want to do is figure out how you can plant a garden. Like, literally, that's the first thing people think about is I want to figure out how I can plant a garden. I want to figure out how my dick gonna lay in her. It's like, what? Really? You don't know shit about it. You don't know if your dick gonna go in and it's gonna fall through her asshole. You don't know that.
And that's a fact. But you know what? If that's what a man wants, what's wrong with being honest and letting that be known? I mean, on the flip side of all of that, you know, as women, and you and I had this conversation earlier.
Right.
Sometimes as women, like, I can own my mannish parts. You know, I'm not the only female that, you know, has some mannish ways to her. And I'm only using mannish because, you know, I could just hear my grandma saying that's so mannish. That's not ladylike. But listen, if I just want to sleep with you, I just want to sleep with you.
Right.
And if I don't see anything else coming from that, and I tell you that, like, listen, you know, I like you, but I can't really see you in my life. But I am physically attracted to you. Like, I'd sleep with you, but I don't want to be your girlfriend. If I tell you that and you proceed on with me and nothing that I'm giving you lead you to believe that I see you in any other light, do not try to force me to be your girlfriend when I told you what it was. And
Right.
it's the same thing for females because sometimes men are honest and they let you know, I don't want anything but sex. And they have sex with the woman, and you and I had this conversation.
Yep.
You know, the dude is laying there, he done stayed the night after a session, and she's laying there looking at him, and the sun beaming down on his face while he's sleeping, and she's stroking the side of his face, and he's so angelic, and she just feels she could change him. And I can show him that not all women are the same. But this same man that you let tap and clap and stay the night told you what he wanted from you, and the boundaries were not put into play. The rules were not discussed. If it's going to be just sex, make it just sex. Nothing more, nothing less. Do not go on dates. Do not spend that extra time. And there damn sure ain't no spending the night a glass of water or a sandwich after. Thank you for coming out. Good night and God bless. I will call you when it is time for another round of applause. Until then, I'll see you on the flip side. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jimmy the cricket soup wearing ass motherfucker. Oh, Sean Colin Powell haircut having ass motherfucker. Angela Davis mustache wearing ass motherfucker. You little Richard Pryor shortcut fade having.
I'm sorry, I had to play that.
Wow.
I'm just saying, it has to be rules set into play and honesty on the table always, because then it avoids a lot of confusion and no mixed signals. But it seems like people, and I won't just place this on the shoulders of men, although it happens a lot more with men than it does women, but people in general, as a whole, do not want someone else to get what they have. It's like, I don't want to wife you, I don't want to make you my man, but I don't want no one else to have you either. It's selfish. If you can't see a future with this person, I mean, honestly, you probably shouldn't be sleeping with them. There, I said it. But human nature, some people have higher sex drives than others. And hey, maybe you're only physically attracted to somebody. And that's okay. But let it be known. And don't play the mind games later. Don't make someone feel like they are more than what they really are to you. And that'll avoid a lot of these psychos that get created, the stalkers that happen, and you know, it'll stop a lot of that.
Right. The TV
if
series
everyone
Snapped.
can just be honest. Huh?
Yeah.
I said the TV series Snapped.
Right.
That part. I see.
Yeah, I think too that that some people can't take that that brutal honesty. They want it packaged a certain way to understand. Well, did you really mean it like that? Because once you start knocking on the door of having sex together, then for some people that translates into a different message, juxtaposed to what one party is saying. No, that I'm just only physically attracted. Now, yeah, I mean, if it's mutually, understood, then that I'm, and maybe you can help me understand how you can swim through that experience and not get emotionally attached, because that's a big thing of commitment to engage in, opposed to people agreeing, if I'm making sense, people agreeing to say, man, I'm just, hey girl, I'm into you physically. She gives that same energy back, and be like, yeah, we can knock this out one time and we can walk away like nothing ever happened because we mutually understand it ain't going no further than that. But does that really happen?
It can happen. It depends on the woman.
I was getting ready to say
It depends on the woman.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
A woman like myself, if I feel the same way, then it's cool. And those boundaries are going to be put into play. See, with most women, and I really wish that the women that came in here actually stayed. Mm-hmm. With most women, where the error lies is we don't tell him, okay, you can't stay the night. We don't tell him you can't have a drawer. You can't bring a toothbrush. No, you can't take me to dinner. No, I'm not cooking you dinner. We don't tell him that. Instead, we agree to the terms, but then we allow other things to come into play that will definitely pull any woman or any man in. Women do it too. That'll pull anyone in to make them believe that they're more than what they are. If it's just sex, it's just sex. There's nothing else on the table. We don't need to be sitting on the phone breaking dawn. I don't need to meet your mom. I don't need to go to the family cookout. I don't have to go to the company function. The most I might do is meet you at the bar for a drink. And then we're going to go do what we do and go our separate ways. But what happens is people get into the situation. Someone starts catching feelings. The other person thinks everything is cool, but no one ever bothered to put that line in the sand to say, this is what we're not going to do. And so then you have women in a situation that feel like they're the girlfriend because he is introducing her to the mom. He is taking her around the friends. He is taking her out on dates. He is making her feel like she's something special. So not to say that just because it's sex, she's not special, but he makes her feel like she's more than what she is. He stays the night with her. He spoons her and holds her till the morning. You can't do that stuff and expect someone to not catch feelings. And as a woman, you can't allow a man to do those things or invite a man into those types of things in your life if it's just sex.
Yeah, girl, but that touch can be dangerous.
But see, then what did your mother tell you? Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. You know what I'm saying? You might say it's just sex, and then the voodoo gets put down on your ass. Now we got a situation here, because I didn't know it was that good, you know. But if you put that distance between y'all, like, yeah, the voodoo came down on you, but now you don't hear from me, or I'm adamant when you're calling to try to make it more like, hey, I told you I'd see you next week, so I'll call you then. When you're getting that, it's keeping you in your place because it's not allowing you. Are you going to keep getting rejected? Either you're going to stay in the situation or you're going to leave it because you can't take the rejection. Somebody's got to stand firm. And it's not a matter of hurting someone's feelings. It's a matter of preserving everyone's feelings. Sometimes we have to look at that. Like, sometimes you got to hurt somebody's feelings to preserve everyone's feelings involved.
Really, nigga?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I burped.
Too mannish?
No, that's a good. You know, as you were talking, Charlie, what came to my mind is the movie Boomerang. I don't know why that came to mind.
You know why? Because he was a player that ran into a female player that put that boom doom down on him and had his nose wide open. He thought he was going to play her, and she played him.
Yes.
See, and that happens a lot as well in situations too. You're right, because a man will think that he's just going to go and slay and ends up getting slayed.
Yep. Cue the violin.
No. It's where's it at? It's cue the. You're not playing her.
That part. And I mean, it's difficult. That's why I said it takes a different type of mentality, and maybe it takes you getting to a certain stage in life. Me, myself, I am one of those girls who, even though my father did smoke crack and things of that nature and was in and out of jail and wasn't always exactly present, in my life, he was a part of my life, very prevalent in my life, even behind bars. My father told me I was beautiful every day that he was around, and even when he wasn't home, he made sure he let me know I was beautiful. He made sure he let me know that I was special. He told me that he loved me. He hugged me. He protected me. He led me by giving me great advice. I had a great father, regardless to his flaws, in my life. And I just so happened to be a girl who was raised as a boy. Okay, I wasn't allowed to cry when things happened. I had to man up, even though, I'm not equipped like a man. I gotta suck it up and take it like a man. And he sat down and he schooled me to a lot of game that men would be on. I sat around a lot of boys. I was a tomboy. I sat around a lot of boys that turned into men and listened to a lot of their conversations and heard about the females that got talked about in the circles and the females that didn't get talked about in the circles. So I had privy to a lot of insider information because of all the men that were around me. Does that mean it stopped me from getting into certain situations? No, but what it did was it gave me a different type of mentality to where I knew when a man was coming after me for sex. And if I decided I was going to sleep with him, then I decided I was going to sleep with him. I haven't had my feelings hurt not one time coming up because this man was after sex and sex alone, and I thought he wanted something more. Nah, nigga, I know you a wolf in sheep's clothing, but I'm trying to pull the sheep's clothing off and tell you it's okay to be a wolf. Because guess what? You looking at me as Little Red Riding Hood, but let me drop this cape because I'm a wolf too.
I'm so done.
I'm mad she said she gonna drop the cape.
And good night.
I'm just saying. So it was never a situation like that where I got played out of my panties. That has not happened because I knew what you were coming for. And either I gave it to you or I didn't. The problem that came into play is when men started playing these games with me like they wanted more, treating me like I was a girlfriend, wanting to put arms around me and hold my hand in public and, spend all this free time with me and conversate with me. And I'm sitting around the family and I'm going to all these different places with you. But then at the end of the day, I'm not your girlfriend. What?
Right.
So why are you doing all of this?
Right.
Well,
then when my feelings get hurt, then I'm the problem. No, you're a fuck boy because you didn't have to do that. That's some simp nigga shit.
Yeah. That is.
That's some simp nigga shit. Because you don't have to game me out the draw. If you sat down and listened to me, and that's one of the things that every man that I've ever been with has always said to me, they miss the relationship that they've had with me because they got the lover and the soft side of me, but they got the homie. Like, they're like, yo, talking to you is like talking to one of the homies.
Right.
And I get to come home to that. Like, I miss that because these females don't get it. I can't talk to them. Right. But you tried to play me. So, nah, I'm good.
Right.
Yeah, you almost sound like Tommy on the witness stand when Martin was questioning him.
Yep.
Tommy, what does QTV stand for?
True.
Got the drums, dog. Got the drums.
Oh shit!
What? I'm done.
I have to say this because like when I was in the Navy and we would go overseas, and I told Sissy this. We was on the phone, like I said, 45 minutes to an hour talking about this shit. We would go overseas and we already knew. We was only there 4 or 5 days. And we go to a bar. Most of the women that's there is there because the military ship pulled in. The Navy ship pulled in. So it's like they already knew. They knew that the men was coming off the boat and they looking for a good time. This is the problem. The problem is that in our day and age, you can go to a club, you can go to a bar, you can go to the damn grocery store, see a woman, tell her she's beautiful, everything else like that, and still won't tell her that you're not looking for a relationship. But like I said, in my day, when I was growing up, and even my time in the military, we would hit these ports and shit like that. And I just like got to a point where I was like, I got to tell these bitches the truth. I ain't giving you my phone number. I give you my email address. That's cool. But we're only here for 4 days. If I can't talk you out your drawers, I ain't trying to fuck with you. I've been on this boat for like 2 months. I need some cheeks. But what was weird about that whole thing was you didn't even have to say that shit. You really didn't. A shit pulled in, telling you. Just like when a comedy show pulls up or a concert pulls up and a girl's like, I'm about to go to the concert. I'm about to get my hair did. I'm about to go get this outfit and get these clothes. I'm going to shave my shit, girl. I'm going to be on point when we go to the concert. Bitch, you only at the concert for 2 hours and then what's going to happen? You're going to get your funky ass in the car, mad because the dude that you used to talk to didn't want to talk to you, and you're going to smoke weed, throw up, want to go to the other club, the after party, and it ain't shit. No, it's the same routine. But that was not what it is. The fact is that most people have an expectation of what they want their night to be. They just hope their night ends up being what they hope it's going to be. And just like Charlie was saying, if you just come to the simple realization, nigga, all I'm doing is, yeah, we can fuck. That's cool. But that's all we doing. And yeah, you call me in a couple weeks, month, whatever. Yeah, we can do it again. It's cool. But see, men can't have that conversation for the simple fact it's a secret. It's like you want to live behind this bullshit of, yeah, I think you attractive, yeah, just go back to my room. Nigga, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. What the hell is she coming back to your hotel room for? To clip your toenails? I mean, like, let's be real. If you in town or you just go into a club and it's like, yeah, just go back to my house and shit. We're going to have a couple of drinks. I think it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Who the fuck drinks at 3 o'clock in the morning if you ain't trying to fuck?
It's called a nightcap.
Yeah, I'm a nightcap that ass. It's like, I'm gonna be
That's
honest.
exactly what it is. You come upstairs, you have a drink, and we go to bed. Like, that's a nightcap. We getting
true.
it in.
Right.
But let me just say this before you continue on for everybody who's listening over there on Speakerland.
Mm-hmm.
I am not out here just randomly hooking up. I don't want people to think that.
Right.
I don't want anybody coming in my inbox thinking, oh, all I got to do is tell her that I want to, and she gonna. That's not how that goes. I do actually, like, when I've had those situations happen, I did actually meet up with the person. I did actually go out on a couple of dates with them and saw I was just physically attracted to you. I really don't have anything else in common with you. I'm actually a sapiosexual type of person. So in order for you to really get me, you gotta be bringing something more than just looks and dick and tongue to the table. Like, you really have to have a mindset on you that intrigues me. And so sometimes some people intrigue me, but they don't intrigue me enough to where I feel like I could be with that person. You intrigue me enough to where, yeah, I want to jump your bones.
Right.
That's it. I don't want to know. So there is a responsible way to do things, and I just wanted to put that out there because we don't live in a day and age where you should be around here just randomly knocking people down. I mean, you never should have. I know in our age we had AIDS. Now they've got all types of stuff out there and super AIDS and all types of stuff. Nowadays, you really need to, like, be careful, mindful of who you are bedding down, not just sexually, spiritually, and because of their mental as well. Because you never know. You could be hooking up with, a fatal attraction and come home to some boiled rabbits in a pot and shit. Like, people are crazy nowadays. But what I am saying is, if that becomes a situation for you, be honest with it. That's all I wanted to say. Because I don't know why, but I just don't want nobody out there thinking that I'm giving a green light to just go out here and it's hoism all 2021. That's not what I'm saying. Please screw responsibly.
I'm so done.
Yeah, I'm logging off.
Right.
No, don't go nowhere.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I think what it is too, Chari, is that, people having a challenge with being able to handle a real conversation like that, and it not, and it not opens up their wandering mind, like, I mean, because I'm glad you said what you said, because people can just be like, oh man, it's like that, that's all it takes. And no, you're talking about having a mature conversation, and just being brutally honest, and categorizing or compartmentalizing. This is what this is. This is all this is. And if you can't, and if you're not mature enough to handle that, then no, don't tread out in that deep end of the pool. Stay your ass over here in the shallow part and just live your life and be great. Period.
Exactly, because I'm never going to be that spiritualist that tells you, don't have sex. No, nigga, sex is spiritual. It's a great fucking experience, especially if you do it with somebody who knows what the hell is going on. You could actually manifest some stuff or transmute things around your world. I mean, it's a great and powerful tool. It's a beautiful experience if you allow it to happen. But at the same time, like I said, it's not something that should happen with just any and everybody. Especially now that I've had as many spiritual awakenings as I have had, I'm very cautious with what I do now, especially being an empath. I'm really cautious with what I do because I don't want to be feeling your energy, your residual energy for a week to a month to maybe even a year because I done slept with you. Oh, no. So definitely, you summed it up with a great bow on top. So, thank you.
That's facts. And I love what both you guys said, because it should be clarity to everyone in a sense to where it's not okay to do that, but at the same time, there's an explanation as to what people's mindset has been, just in life. You're a free thinker. You should be able to do what the hell you want to do. But at the same time, don't make yourself out to be something that really and truly isn't who you are. And you're only doing this because it was done to you. And a lot of people, I think, get into this comfort of just being okay with that. And that's fine. Like, totally fine. If that's what you are, that's what you be. That's totally fine. But don't complain when you're trying to settle down and there's like 1,001 people that are just like you. When not even a year ago, you couldn't find anybody that thought like you. And you were just like, damn, this is bullshit. Now I got to get into a fucking relationship. I'm not ready. No. There's people that want to get in a relationship, but then there's people that don't want a relationship that want the exact same thing that you want. It's okay. And I also think that at the end of the day, when you open the door to try and be a better person, that doesn't shut off what you have been or what you have done, because all that made you who you are. Even if that's who you are to this day. You know what I'm saying? Even if that's who you are to this day. It's made you who you are. And it's probably made you a better person, because you may be with someone that's not secure with themselves. And you're just like, okay, you need to relax, because I'm not going nowhere. And it's not because you got options. It's the fact that you're not going anywhere. Because of the things you experience, you want this person to have the confidence in knowing that, guess what? I want you to be the nastiest person that I'm going to ever be with, because guess what? You're the only person I'm going to be with. And I want you to be okay with that. If there's a thought that you have, I want you to act on that thought. But at the same time, I don't want you to feel like you got to conversate about that thought to 1,001 other friends of yours, because guess what? As soon as you do that, that's the curiosity of the cat. And that's when motherfuckers want to invade your relationship and fuck it up.
This is true. This is true. But at the same time, you have to know the caliber of friend that you're talking to too.
That part.
Because I have friends that I know I can have those conversations with, because when I was younger, I had a counsel. That's what my kid's father called it, the council. And we would get together and we would have drinks and we would start talking and we would share sexual war stories. And when I say war stories, some of the stories that I've heard is like, girl. And I would share things with them. And they would share things with me. And yeah, so girl, I was doing this, that, and the third. And I had him like this and da-da-da-da-da. And it'll be like, well, girl, how did you do that? Like, show me how you did that. Because I need to go home and do that. You need to know the circle of friends. We knew that none of us were going to go after each other's man. We had no interest. We did have a hoe in the crew, but the hoe was never invited to the council meeting. You see what I'm saying? You don't invite the hoe into a conversation that you know is going to let her be a hoe.
That's real. That is real.
So you got to be mindful. And, you know, even with men, that goes the same way. Do you know how many times I've had a friend come to me and try to kick it to me because this nigga done went and ran his mouth to his homeboy, and unbeknownst to him, this homeboy liked me. I knew he liked me. He was trying to holler at me before you.
Damn.
And now you done went and told him how I give it up. And now he's in my face, or he's at my door, and you ain't around, and he trying to invite himself in, and because you done ran your mouth.
Right. Well, see, that's like, okay, that's like Connie. Connie's really reserved and very, very, very private. But I know why. There's certain conversations she's not going to have with anybody on the phone. And there's certain conversations that she won't even have with me. But I also know that I can have those conversations with her. But it's like, I don't want to have to pull that out of her. I'm her husband. I shouldn't have to pull that out of her. I should be able to have that conversation. But I have to understand the experience that she had and the experience I had is two different things. When you can have a conversation with someone and understand where this person is in life, you can't get upset with that person. But see, that is the issue. People want to get upset with people because of what they experience and how somebody else did them and why this person is the way they are. Because now you want this person to be how you want them to be because that's the only way you're comfortable. No, fuck that. Leave that person the way they are. If you love that person because of the way they are, why are you trying to change them to be something that they're not going to ever be to you? It's always going to be a manufactured product of something you're trying to create to make this person seem that they really like this, but really they don't like it. And the reason why they don't like it is because they had a bad experience from like 5 niggas ago. And you're trying to make them seem like, oh, it's okay. No, they don't like dick in their face because somebody tried to jam one in their fucking face and hit them in the eye. That's why they don't like it in their face. So stop trying to push it in their face.
Bruh.
It's like people don't get it. It's like, okay, I understand the trauma you've been through, but damn. I wasn't that person that caused that trauma. You got to let that person heal in the time period that they need to heal. You can't force that person to do something you want them to really do, and then they're going to do it bad, and then you're going to feel bad about it because now you got to play the coach like you coaching a 1-12 team, and you're trying to coach them to be 12-1. It's not going to happen, bro. You're trying to be a pimp. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to pimp your wife to be something that she's really not because she really don't want to do that shit. And that's not okay. It's really not. But that's what the generation has created with the mentality that a lot of people have. They'll learn the mentality of people, and then they'll try to mastersize that by being this person when really they're not that person. They're not even skilled in that field. They just listen to people that have done this shit to people, And now they want to be this person and be this imaginary superhero or really a villain and completely mess this person's mind up. And that's foul. I think it's foul because it's like men and women, it doesn't matter who you are. People have done this, and you can't uplift somebody. I think, in my opinion, you can't uplift somebody and make them be something that you want them to be just to please you sexually when you're not even pleasing them sexually.
Boom, man.
That makes no sense to me. It's like you're trying to make this person, please you sexually when you're not even meeting they need at all. You ain't even meeting nothing that they need. And they telling you this. And it's like, okay, what do I need to do better? Okay, you need to be this, you need to be this. And they're not even being that. They're telling you what they need. And guess what? You're sacrificing your time and energy to meet their needs. And you're constantly telling them, I don't like that. I want you to do this. I would like for you to do this. It would be nice if you do this. Yeah, it would be nice to look in the yellow pages and not go to Z to look for your fucking name. But at the end of the day, it's never going to be the product that we should have to respect each other because everybody's wants is not everybody's gains. It's really not. So I just wanted to say that I'm not going to keep y'all no more. We've been on this bitch for 2 hours and 11 minutes, and it's been a great conversation. It's been great to be able to just bring this podcast back on, and not to mention start bringing it on Spreaker, even though I didn't have the numbers that I wanted. But you know what? I had the numbers that I expected because I had my family on. So Sissy Chari, Sensei ain't on no more. I appreciate him. Shayla was on. My brother Garrett. And I have to say this. Happy birthday. Although I know your birthday was August the 31st, right?
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday!
I didn't send you no new shoes. And I know shoes last only a couple years before you got to get some new ones. So
oh man. Bruh, man. Hey, man, I still got them, man. I work out in them. They all curved up like boats. And every time I look at them, man, I make the connection to you and Connie. Damn, my brother did something for me on my birthday that, a lot of, haven't done really in a long time. And it's just like, it just warms my heart when people are just nice to you,
Right.
And you just can't beat that, man. And when people entreat you that way, you you got someone special in your life, and you build that relationship. Period.
Right.
I guess that makes my ass simp, so I don't give a fuck.
I'm fucking weak. Hey,
Listen,
bro.
I don't want no overly masculine man in my life that's too he-man, woman hater to be sensitive enough to my feelings, or who's too man enough to rub my feet when I tell him I've been out all day grocery shopping and running errands and all that other stuff, and I come in the house and put my feet up. I don't want him to not be able to rub my feet, rub my back. You know what I'm saying? I don't want somebody who's gonna treat me like a goddamn slave either, and make it feel like a task or a necessity when I decide to do things for them. Like if I'm doing something for you, I had someone one time before, their feet were totally jacked up. I didn't like that. So me knowing how to do feet and stuff, I started doing his feet. When he started making it feel like it was something that I was supposed to do and that he didn't appreciate it, I stopped doing that shit.
Fact.
Right.
Because I was doing it as a gesture of an act of love. Because one of my love languages is act of service. So it was the way I show my love. But if you act like you don't appreciate it and then you act like I'm supposed to be doing it, bruh, I don't even like feet. I don't want your feet on me. I just didn't want your feet looking jacked up in my sheets. I didn't want to see your feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, Like, I mean, shit. Right. Like, I don't want you, like, man,
Really,
listen,
nigga?
you look good from the ankles up. From the
Got that
ankles up,
Jeepers-
you look good.
Got
So,
that Jeepers
I mean,
Creepers treatment going
Got
on.
that Jeepers Creepers feet.
man. So, I stopped doing that stuff. And I'm that type of person. Like, don't make me feel that way. Don't defeminize me when I'm being feminine to you at all. And I feel like, shit, if that's the case, then I'll take a simp nigga any day. Because I don't want nobody who's going to be in here beating on his goddamn chest because I'm a man and I said so. Nigga, you can hit the motherfucking door. Matter of fact, you stay here. I'll pack my shit and leave.
Right.
Oh,
God damn.
bomb just dropped on that one.
For real. Like, god damn. I mean,
What?
I mean, it's
What?
Oh my God!
I mean, I mean, damn. That's the truth though, sis, because you know, it comes to a point where you have to stand your ground. And I think people don't take the time to stand their ground. I mean, we're going to get into a long conversation. We already been on here for 2 hours, and I ain't trying to do that to y'all. It's already, 10:21, and I'll sit around here and talk y'all ear off about this shit. But you right. You got to write this shit down.
Other people have rooms that are talking about less, and they be on here for hours. Like,
you right.
Seriously.
You absolutely right. And it's giving me a thought. Maybe what I need to do is create
Do you know that room is still open?
Are you serious?
White men treat black women better than that one. It's still open.
We need to go up in that room. Like after this,
I don't know. I caught a headache sitting in there. I don't know.
Yeah, you right.
I don't know because I got a headache from that room because I just got tired of the girls who created the room defending shit and telling people that, oh, well, that's not this and that's that and y'all need to do this. And then it's like you bash and talk down to other people. See, yeah, no, I ain't got time for the shit show. I mean, if we going to go in there, then we going to go in there and we going to bomb their ass. But I don't know. I don't know about tonight. Maybe another topic because the other topic they had in there, Garrett, the other topic they had in that room was bisexual women are ran through and not wife material. Really?
Wow.
How do you know that?
Right.
It's wow.
I think
are you telling on yourself?
Right.
Is that what we're doing? Are you telling on yourself? Because
right.
How do you know that all bisexual women are ran through?
I'm starting to think that people are like not even using the Kool-Aid packs to make Kool-Aid anymore. I think they're snorting it with no sugar, and they're trying to see if their hair changes the same color as what they're snorting. That's what I'm thinking. I don't. I mean, I don't think that it's counter. I mean, I don't even think it's productive to the point where we even need to discuss it, because people are they getting to the point where they're just stupid, and they're looking for any conversation to get attention, just to talk about it and argue with you about it, and then sit there at the dinner table with their wife and be like, I argued with this dude about this. Really? He didn't know you was married? No, he didn't need to know. It's like, really? I mean, that's what I think people are trying to do, and it's stupid as hell. But I'm gonna leave it alone.
Hey, can I make this last point on
yes,
that,
sir.
man? Because what it sounds like, what it speaks to really is the sad connotation of how insignificant, individuals' personal experiences are, because when they can take their little microcosm experience and make it a broad conversation and generalize it, it shows you how menial, not only their perspective and just talking point is, but also you're not experiencing individuals who are like saying no, or giving you another perspective of saying no, it's not like that. And I'm not saying that my world is the broad stroke either. But if we can't see that we're only talking about a small compartment of an experience, then you don't even need to have that conversation. That don't even need to be no clubhouse room or
right.
Close the damn club. Close that room. Lock the door and don't let nobody else in there. Get the fuck out of there,
right?
And don't let nobody else in there. Because if we're gonna be that penny ante with these conversations and make all these broad sweeping generalizations, then what the fuck we doing? You know what I mean?
You're right, brother. You're right. That makes a lot of sense, and you're absolutely right, because it's just, I think at this point people are just clout chasing and they're just looking for any kind of conversation they can have, to be honest with you. But
true that.
Like I said, they're like the ring, what are they called? The person at the circus who
the ringleader, the ringmaster.
The ringmaster.
Ringmaster. That's what they are. They're the ringmasters. Because like I said, some of these rooms they put these titles up and then they let people go in there as a free for all. There's I've heard some really disrespectful stuff in there, and I blame a lot of that shit on Kevin Samuels. There was a young guy in one room, they were talking about something, and he was just like, I'm just gonna say this. If you're fat, if you're a woman and you're fat, then you need to learn to be humble, because nobody wants to date a fat woman. And I'm like, dude, okay, I'm not what you would consider fat. And my children, if they heard me saying the word fat to describe myself, they would all bust through this door and be like, you're not fat, you're fluffy. But I carry my weight well, okay? And I've had 4 children. And I'm 42 years old. So my body is not the same as it used to be. Plus, I have personal injuries that restrict me from being able to get my body physically fit and toned the way that I would like it to be. I embrace myself. I don't care. I say I have a body that's built for grown men. Only a grown man can handle this body.
There you go.
To say something like that ain't nobody checking for me, bruh. Maybe you're not because you're a young buck, but I can guarantee you that you'll come home and I'll be sitting on your daddy lap. Don't play with me.
Oh God!
Play with your mammy.
Play with your mammy.
Oh my God!
Play with your. Yeah. I'm.
What? Oh my God!
I'm like,
what? Oh my God!
But the perception is that women who have a little bit more to them are not attractive. I can guarantee you that I could go out in these streets smelling good, looking good, and all of that, and I can attract men to me. It's not about what I look like. It's about my energy that I put in.
Right.
It's about the confidence in my step, in my stride. It's the femininity in me when I'm stepping through these streets. So don't tell me that I can't. I'm telling you. Don't play with me, young buck. Where you live at? I guarantee you come home after school, after work, whatever, and I'll be sitting in your living room on your daddy lap like, what's up, young buck?
Rubbing his daddy's beard and shit. I'm like, oh, hell no.
You ain't tell me your daddy beard was this soft, sir.
Wow.
Well, with that being said, I'm thinking this is gonna have to be a close for the podcast tonight, because
absolutely,
I'm sure that next week is gonna be fire just like this week was, because I really love this conversation and I appreciate y'all joining me in the clubhouse streets, and I appreciate Joanne joining me in the Spreaker app, and everybody else is listening to me on any platform that you can listen to me from on for podcasts. So with that being said, that's what I said on Friday night. It's every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and you'll never know who I have. I might have my sissy back on the way she comes off the cuff, and my brother Garrett. I mean, y'all just don't never know. I mean, shit, I might have Sensei on there. I might have a whole bunch of people on here, but at the end of the day, it's always going to be 100% authentic conversation, real, and it's never going to be something fake. I appreciate y'all energy and I appreciate y'all time. Take the time to listen, not just to my podcast, But go to Charlie Lamone's website, IamLamone.com. And I know my brother Garrick and his wife had a t-shirt business, and I know they thinking about doing something else. But anything I post on my Instagram or my Facebook, pay attention to, because I'm supporting everybody. Same thing with Sensei. Sensei be doing teas, he be doing all kinds of shit, and he be running these clubhouse streets. So I'm sure y'all gonna run into him again. So with that being said, peace and love to everybody. You gotta say anything, my beautiful wife?
No, sir. Good night.
She ready to go to bed. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, it's 10:30. She ready to go to sleep, y'all. So with that being said, man, peace and love. I appreciate y'all spending the energy and the time with me. I'm out.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.